Level up your hunting game and join the cause. Help preserve small-town Texas hunting culture and become a more successful hunter by learning the best ways to squeeze the most out of your budget and precious time out in the field. Welcome to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Here are your resident bandits, Richard Kinchlow and Jimmy Byrne. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit Podcast. Jimmy here, joined as usual by old corn bandit Richard. What's going on?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy to be here. It's been a rough couple of weeks, but on the night that we are recording right now, it is raining in Texas, and that is so desperately needed. So that's a good thing.
Except unless your house gets struck by lightning, and
right,
that's unfortunate.
Yes, very, very true. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah. But you didn't get struck by lightning. Remember, it was the breaker box exploded.
Oh yes, okay. Well,
yeah. So
know,
if you got a
6 1/2 dozen the other.
Right. You got a 60-inch TV, send it to McKinney. We know somebody who's probably going to need it. So,
because there is a big country soccer game going up that
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Something's coming up. Actually, I think he said something like the U.S. and Mexico. I'm like, how many times are they going to play? I don't get one. He's like, well, it's the round 2 of the Philo men's national champion. Yeah,
it's the Del Norte championship. You know?
Yeah, okay, dude. God, it's the NAFTA 500. You know, and the Canadians don't even try, of course, because they're a bunch of syrup eaters. So, yeah. I tell you, before we get this going, with having the whole rain and everything, obviously this is, the entire state's in a pretty awful drought. So we're just fortunate as hell to have anything. But this rain that came tonight and a little bit earlier today could not have been any better timing because of the wildfires out in kind of northwest Texas. So in Eastland County, it's just been ravished, unfortunately. And for those of you who drive down 20 to your favorite hunting grounds, you go through Cisco and Eastland and all that, Ranger. They've had a lot of fires out there, and it's just been terrible. So I loved it. I love to see Texans helping Texans, and you had guys from other counties that weren't on fire, that were bringing hay and that were transporting livestock, to other ranches, which, by the way, those other ranches don't have any grass to speak of anyway. So that is just that's Texans helping Texans. And obviously it happens everywhere else too, but I love to see that community, which I hate that word, spirit is still alive and thriving. So again, our hearts go out to all of our fellow Texicans that leases have burned or something of that nature. With that being said, you've you got a couple of options. What are you going to do if your lease catches on fire? A lot of folks will just say, well, I'm done, I'm out of there, but something else to consider, since it's burned this early, quote unquote this early, you get a little bit of rain, you're going to have yourselves a mega food plot. So break out the pop-up tents or pop-up blinds, and those trees will be back. So maybe just because your place caught on fire, don't throw in the towel yet, because remember, I'm way off topic here, but if you throw in the towel on that hunting lease, okay, somebody else is going to get it next year, especially if you've got an owner that's not loyal to you. So keep that in mind if you're one of the few that have been affected by this fire.
I'd love to see Matt and Trav's old lease north of my family's place.
Yes.
What that looks like now. God. What was that, about 10 years ago now, maybe?
It has, yeah. And I tell you what, Trav has an incredible picture, and I'll see if I can find it, of the fire progressing on his game camera.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Oh my God.
Love to post that on our website.
That's awesome. No, absolutely. And it was crazy because he said, out of everything there, that could have burned that I wouldn't have been upset about. The game camera was the one because it was old, blah blah blah. But that fire killed everything else. I mean, he cooked his feeder.
Except the game camera.
It's just
Yeah.
the game camera survives. Like, how is that possible? Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't know. That sucks.
And hope everyone's all right and safe from the tornadoes that supposedly touched down. We're talking on March 21st.
Yep,
as we're recording at least.
Yep. So yeah, obviously the folks in Jacksboro. I mean that place is very near and dear to Jimmy and I's hearts. Dairyland, Green Frog. We got lots of great memories in Jacksboro. So we hearts go out to those folks as well. Hey, listen, Lord knows we need the rain, but obviously could do without all the destruction of property but more importantly, the loss of life. So I hope everybody turns out okay from this little event. And of course, we're just starting to get in the storm season, but if the rain pattern does what it's been doing the past 6 to 8 months, we probably don't have anything to worry about because it ain't rain worth a shoot. So that is that. On to the next crisis. If you have not heard, World War III potentially is on the doorstep. Who knows? Old Pooter is out there, doesn't like the fact that the UE and the PE and the QRE and NATO and Blado and Pluto and all those other guys are joining forces with these countries on this doorstep. Anyways, it's caused quite a mess. A lot of folks died, which sucks for sure. But it's also starting to hurt us here. Well, it's been hurting us here at home. The gas prices, diesel fuel prices, oil prices have been going through the roof even before this whole mess in Ukraine. Now they're really going up. You're looking at, scenarios where diesel's, $4.50 a gallon, gas. I got gas the other day for $3.89. I was actually pretty happy about that. Jimmy, what's gas down there in the northern hill country?
I'd say I'm probably right in the central hill country.
Whatever. Oh, well, that's true. Oh, yeah. Idiot. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Listen, I didn't study geometry. So I don't know my north and my south and all that. So yeah.
I won't hold it against you.
Okay.
No, it's about 380 to 390. Okay. Depending on where you that's it. Okay. But then $4, over $4 for diesel, obviously.
Okay. Yeah.
Low $4.
Yeah, it sucks. With that being said, also some commodity prices are going up as well. I mean, all food have gone up. Inflation. I was about to rhyme inflation with another word, but I'm not going to because I know there are other, sensitive ears listening to this. So yeah, everything's just gotten a hell of a lot more expensive. It's gotten a lot more expensive to do things. And talking about commodities, the price of corn has gone up. How much is it right now? I have no idea, but apparently it has gone up. And of course, the fuel that it takes to plant the corn, the fuel that it takes to harvest the corn, and then of course you need rain. God, I mean, it's just a recipe for higher prices and a lot of misery. So Jimmy and I thought that it would be a really great topic of choice, unfortunately, to talk about, what can you do as a hunter, feeding and whatnot in any state, really, to help your budget, so that you can kind of maintain what you're currently doing, if you can afford it. But of course, if you can't afford it, what are some subtle changes that you can make that are going to save you some money, but still give you kind of the maximum benefit. So I spent some of my day today not working and working on this fun stuff. So it was actually very, it was a nice change of pace because I think I'm really gooder when I do things like this. Yeah. So
gooder than.
So yeah. So really in my opinion, and Jimmy, you chime in at any time here.
Sure.
How you were going to react to this situation, so everything being higher, fuel prices, Cup of corn, protein, just all that kind of, what in God's green earth was that? Something just fell in my closet. I don't know. Could be old Putin himself. You in there?
It's
Hey.
that little spy in there.
Yeah. Hey, Ruski. No, if he's in there, he's not making any noise. That's good. All right, so we continue. So yeah, it really just comes to your, how sensitive are you? What's your budget for these kinds of things? So obviously the money is obviously a huge factor. The other factor is, in my opinion, is what's your competition like? And by competition, I'm talking about, okay, are you on on a real small lease that's a couple of 100 acres and all your neighbors are sitting there shooting like crazy, and you're doing your damnedest to draw in deer, things of that nature. Okay, so I've kind of got budget, competition equals how much / what should I do? Okay, so how much money should I spend on this kind of stuff? Should I cut down on corn because it's going, and then really what should you do to improve things? So just a couple of tricks, I guess kind of a couple of things that I've thought about, and obviously Jimmy, you chime in here at any time. If you're in a scenario where, again, we'll go back to the one where you've got a couple of 100 acres, you've got some really aggressive hunters all around you. Okay. Well, chances are they're going to be kind of going through the same thing you do. So let's talk about a couple of things. So if you're currently feeding protein, okay, out of a gravity feeder, okay, and you're running a corn feeder year round, okay, and the reason why you're doing this is because your neighbors are doing the exact same thing, or maybe they're not doing that, but yet you're trying to keep these deer on your property. So what can you do if you're in that scenario? So what can you do with all that competition to keep deer in your area, but yet save some money? So here's some kind of my thoughts. First and foremost, on your corn feeder. Okay. And then again, we've talked about it a million times. The corn is just like a Snickers bar, right? It's just like a candy. It's a starch, so they're really not getting anything out of it. However, as everybody's seen, they get onto a routine. Okay. So, first and foremost, if you've got a 600-pound or 1,000-pound, 600 pounds, probably more like it, 600-pound corn feeder, why don't you turn the spin cycle down? Okay. So, during the deer season, yeah, you want to do 3 seconds. Why do you want to do 3 seconds or do more? I don't know. Depends on what you want to do. We like to do 3 seconds because it spits out enough corn to where the turkeys get in there. And then where the deer get in there and you got a lot of deer, it still gives you ample time to age and identify a deer and put one down. Okay. Well, obviously, if you're going to be hunting if you're in the off season, you're not going to be shooting deer. So why don't you turn it down 2 seconds? Okay, try something like that. Is that going to make a big difference? I don't know. It might. It should. Right?
Well,
you're going to be
make out about 33% difference.
Right. You see, that's why we look at that. That whole 33. Yeah. See. So there you go. So you're saving money already by turning it down. 1 second. Okay. Here's something else you can do. If you've gotten lazy, which we never have, but if you have, we hear that people do get lazy. And for example, they've got a corn feeder that doesn't have a spinning, it has got an old school spinning mechanism on there. Okay. And so because of that, when the wind turns up, okay, or the coons get up on there, what are they going to do? They're going to spin that thing out. Okay. Well, you've just been lazy over the years because corn is corn. You got a 600-pound feeder. Well, you know what? Now that corn is legitimately like gold, why don't you spend a little money? Go see our buddies at SpinTech in San Antonio and put one of their, I like to call them the anti-coon spinning devices on there. Okay. And so what that's going to do is, you can see a video on our YouTube page about, it's actually that's on their page too, where the coon gets up there and they try to get your spinner. And when they go to spin it doesn't spin. Okay. So you've got corn. You're saving money on that one too. Keeps squirrels away, keeps the wind away. All right. So again, those are two very inexpensive, two easy things, especially just hitting the dials, okay, on your feeders that you can do that's going to help you save money but still feed your deer in a high stress situation. Something else you can do is you can just feed once a day. Okay, so instead of feeding twice a day for 2 seconds apiece, why don't you feed once a day for 3 seconds? Okay, make it in the morning, make it in the evening. All right, and then God willing, by August or September, hopefully the situation will be a little bit better, and then you can fill her up again and do your normal morning and evening feeds. Okay, talking about protein. The whole protein situation depends on what kind of feeder you have. Okay. Typically a lot of them are going to be the tube feeders. Okay. So the gravity flows, what can you do to, maximize you be more efficient when it comes to feeding protein? Well, first and foremost, you can keep the damn coons off. All right. Well, now we'll start bigger and make our way smaller. If you're in a pasture that's full of cattle, okay, if you haven't fenced in your feeders yet, now's probably the time to do that. Okay. Couple of T-posts, some bull panels, you're going to be in great shape. It's going to keep those cows off of them. And so they're going to quit destroying your feeder and eating all the protein. Love you, baby. The second thing you can do is get a coon hoods. Okay. We have put the coon hoods on. In fact, I need to contact our buddies today because I need to get some more. But the coon hoods are going to sit on your protein tubes, and they are going to prevent the coons from getting on top of your feeders and moving all that corn out. They've got some statistics on their website, but guys, listen, it works. We've tried it. Again, we only kind of push products that really work, and y'all, this is a good one. So if you've been neglecting trying to get some coon hoods ordered and whatnot, do it now. Do it now. Because the more protein you can save, the less trips you're going to get to make down there. You're going to get more mileage out of every time you fill your feeder. Okay. So those are a couple of things that I've thought about. If you're in a situation where you've just got lots of competition in your area, but you don't want to just shut down feeding altogether. Jimmy, I got some more stuff here, but what do you think? Anything to add to that?
I don't know if you have on there, but if you find that do you have anything about if you're seeing on your cameras thieves coming in there and stealing your corn, maybe doing a little more trapping?
That's a great thought.
Is that on your list?
No, it's not, but it really should have. It really should be. Now he's
every little bit might help,
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And listen, even around your corn feeders, when we talk about trapping using those Duke's dog-proof traps, we always talk about putting them around the protein feeders, but guys, we put them around corn feeders too. Okay. And again, if you're in a situation where your budget constraints are saying that you've got to cut down your spend cycle, okay, we really want to try to minimize the amount of waste you're going to get to non-target animals. Okay. Well, you can't trap cardinals. Okay. So, it's okay there, but those damn coons will eat a whole belly full of corn. So get out there and get them trapped now. And if you wanted some tips on the trapping, obviously go to our YouTube channel. I'm not going to say I perfected it, but I have perfected trapping in Texas feeder pens, which is fun. You see a lot of videos out there on YouTube. It's like, hey, I'm Dusty O'Ryan up here in Ohio, and I got this huge drainage ditch. That's not how they talk from Ohio.
Don't you know?
That's just how it came out. That's Canadian. Anyway, no, but with us, it's like, yeah, here's the gigantic mechanism that sprays corn out. You got a buttload of coons coming to the same area. What do you do, to maximize your trapping time? So we talk a lot about that. So I encourage you guys to check it out if you're interested. Couple other things that you can do with your protein feeders. Some of the tube feeders have got flow adjustments on them. Okay. And some of them do. I know the Outback feeders do not, but I think some of the all seasons feeders do. I know that the all season trough feeders, the standing trough feeders, okay, definitely have a flow adjustment. And I really, really like that because, especially if you're getting a lot of coons on there, that's going to prevent the amount of, waste, prevent the amount of protein that they're just consuming. It's going to cut down on it. Okay. It's also going to cut down the amount available to the deer as well, which, I mean, yeah, could be a bad thing, but listen, trying to save some bucks, they'll be okay. Remember, protein feed is just supplemental. Okay. This is not something that they've got to absolutely have. It's not 100% vital to them. And, I'd say 95% of the time. Something else to do. This is getting a little bit more out there, but it's kind of right up our alley. I highly recommend that you guys utilize your feed stores. Okay, your feed stores, but believe me, they're hurting as well too. Okay, the prices of their stuff's probably going up because listen, the price of getting the stuff to them is going up. Right, so everybody kind of passes those those cost gains on to everybody. So call your feed store, see what they can do. Okay. I mean, you don't know until you try. Okay. And so I would make the argument that, if you're hunting in Dallas, okay, and you're hunting, your lease is in San Saba. All right. What is the point? Okay. Besides maybe saving a little bit of time, what's the point in buying corn or protein feed outside of Arlington, Texas, and then continuing on making that 4-hour trip with your buggy all loaded down? Okay. You're going to get worse fuel mileage. Okay. So why don't buy it local, shop local, buy it at your local feed store. All right. And who knows, guys, you could be in a situation where the feed store may deliver it to you. You never know. Chances are, if you're hunting in the state of Texas, you're hunting on a property that's got cattle. Okay. If they've got cattle, everybody and their mothers has a feed barn. All right. There could be a scenario, especially if you know your rancher, which we always encourage you all to get to know your rancher, or your rancher be like, sure, absolutely. You can use a little space over here. Yeah. You're still going to get weevils. Sure. You're going to have to deal with mice, but guess what? That feed's going to be there. All right. It's not going to load down your truck. So your $4.50 diesel goes a little bit longer. Something else to try. Your rancher, okay, especially during the drought and whatnot, to be going to the feed store a lot more. They don't want to, okay, but they're going to be feeding a lot of hay. They'll be feeding cake, things of that nature. And so they're going to be going to the feed store. If you know them good enough, okay, and chances are he may take a trailer with him, may have a flatbed. It's not going to hurt your rancher to put a pallet of corn on the back of his flatbed. All right. And if he's got the ability to offload, or you guys time it to where you're going to be right there, I mean, they'll do that, guys. Ranchers will bend over backwards for you. Okay. It's still a good old boy system in a lot of these places. So talk to your feed store and talk to your local rancher and see what they can do for you.
Some good tips there.
Yep. I tell you, the last thing I've kind of got here, which is very, very unusual, but with just the scenario that we've got with the lack of rain all over the state, winter wheat typically gets planted in late September, into early to mid-October. Okay. And you typically wait till October because of the armyworms. The armyworms will take those fields over if you don't spray for them or you plant too early. So this year was crazy because you see all these fields that are normally just green as can be. You got your sunglasses on, look at them, right? Because they're just normally as green as they can be. Well, this year they were dirt. And they were dirt because we didn't get any damn rain. Okay. Go look at them now. Okay. It's really kind of interesting, but we've got kind of I'm not going to say a saving grace for the fact that we don't have any damn rain. But we've got all this wheat that's coming up. So I wonder what the deer are thinking. They're like, man, this is crazy. It's a total potonic reversal. How they normally feed on that wheat. in November, and now they're going to be feeding on that wheat in March and April. So it's going to be really interesting. That taken a little bit further for those of you who dove hunt, okay, don't forget that when wheat heads out, first of all, the deer love to eat wheat that's got a big head on it. Okay, I have come up in the summer in late July and August, and I have seen deer destroying just heads of wheat. They eat like corn on the cob. Okay, so it's a really good place to look. But all this wheat, if we get a little bit of rain, it's going to head out. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that kind of plays into this year's dove season. Because if it heads out, you're talking about a manure ton of forage out there for the birds and for the deer. So just another little nerdy thing that I've been thinking about.
I guess that could be a plus and a minus if there's so much out there for the birds.
Yep.
Then
for sure,
it'll be like there's just when there's a lot of water.
Yeah.
As opposed. So.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh yeah. Yeah. Speaking of a lot of water and those stupid freaking ducks, I've been down at well, you and I got down to Rancho Bandito, and it was I looked up at the sky, said some choice words, not to God, but the ducks passing by, and I mean it was like they were shooting a Delta waterfowl commercial out there. I had geese and all kinds of ducks just just enjoying life out there. While we're up here in Crocs and shorts, and it's not duck season anymore. So, So to answer everybody's question, am I still bitter? 3 or 4 months late, you're damn right I am. I am bitter. But
well, you got a long way till redeeming yourself. So.
I know. I do.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can maybe somewhat redeem yourself by killing a couple turkey here coming.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Oh God, man, I'm pumped. And honestly, I have you to thank for that. You done gone relit my turkey spark. It's probably about 15 years now too. Because I was, of course, drank a lot too, but I was just sleeping in, just hanging out. But man, you have relit that turkey spark. So
good.
Yeah, it's exciting.
There's enough there to kill. So I mean,
oh my God, is there ever? Blessed to have that, man. Blessed to have that.
Yeah, just you got to get enough people down there to kill enough of those turkey, and then you can do like a grind. A turkey,
oh my God,
ground turkey grind.
Delicious. It's funny talking about hunting turkeys and whatnot. Obviously, a great conservation success story, but Benjamin Franklin. Who, of course, as we know, invented the telephone. He wanted to make the turkey the national bird. Yeah, and not the eagle. So, can you imagine? Right, right. Well, of course, but can you imagine us out there shooting eagles and eating them? I mean, it just doesn't have the same ring. Yeah,
that'd be pretty
eagle
fun.
Tastes like fish. Yeah. So, because
he didn't want the country to be thought of as a predator nation. It's too late now, but
yeah.
And the turkey was very much a bird that helps sustain people.
That's very true.
So it actually represented the country a lot better.
Yeah. Well,
instead of a predator.
Well,
not anymore though. I mean it.
Right.
I think the bald eagle is a perfect mascot for the federal government as it is now.
Right. I was thinking more of like a dodo. Or
that would be nice if that represented the federal.
Or no, I mean, how about like a grackle? Just an annoying, stupid, overpopulated bird.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah. We could talk about this all night.
I'm surprised that I mean, I understand why they named the Washington team the Commanders, just because.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
That's all Washington D.C. does is tell us what to do. But
right.
I don't know. They could have named it the Eagles. I guess. Oh no, I mean like the bald eagle. I guess they have the Eagles.
Oh man, can you imagine that?
But,
golly.
Well, it should have been. I don't know if I might have said this on a previous podcast. I don't know, but what it should have been is either the Washington Leeches or the mosquitoes or the skeeters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's great. The watch and the leeches are first and 5, but the that's great. I like it.
Oh, well, anyway.
I like it. Yep.
Well, I think folks ought to take to heart a lot of the things you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because, thank you again. I'm going to go back to the government. Thank you, federal government, for spending so much money over the years that
Right.
the Federal Reserve has had to monetize that debt, hence printing a lot of money,
Right.
hence giving us this massive price increases that we're
Yeah.
handling now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it's not going to stop.
No.
Probably.
No.
So start implementing some of those ideas sooner rather than later, because
Right.
it's probably going to have to be, a perennial situation for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
yeah, get creative. If people have ideas other than what was talked here, we're all ears.
Oh, for sure. I've actually heard a lot of conversation about people that were saying that corn, and I haven't checked the price of bag corn lately, but the what do you do when corn gets over the price of protein? It's like, well, God, we might as well just feed protein.
Yeah, sure.
Then some of the guys who aren't feeding protein are kind of like, well, crap, that's, oh God, what do I do? Like, well, you should have been doing it,
Man.
Yep.
Does that happen where the price inverts like that? So it's
yeah.
Because you gotta, the inputs into protein also are going up. So
yeah, there's
I guess
no
it's
doubt.
just corn would, I guess, is just going up faster than.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, and I think
crazy.
that corn is more globally, the price of corn is more globally affected, whereas protein is just concentrated here. So is that a good or a bad? Well, it's probably a good
other
thing.
than the inputs though, that go into the protein.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try to we'll try to look up a price of feed before they do the next one. That's what we had to do. We had to do the Feed Bandit commodity report.
Oh yeah, like right at the beginning.
Oh God, that would be great. It's a really good idea. That'd be fun as hell. But of course, I'll probably forget to look it up and I'll make stuff up.
Here's Chet Masterson with your
that's right
commodity update.
The price of corn today skyrocketed 30% to $14 a bushel.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
What's going on?
Son's made the green cheese. That's so great. Yep.
All right. You got anything else?
That's all I got, buddy.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, folks, for listening to this episode. Again, shoot us an email at howdy@feedbandit.com if you have some other innovative ways of saving some money, because we'd like to save money as well. And ones we didn't talk about on this episode, love to share them with your fellow listeners. Just shoot us an email with your thoughts on anything, hunting related, any topics you'd like us to cover, any good stories that you'd maybe like us to recount on the air or something. I don't know, just anything. Just give us a shout. We love to hear from fellow hunters out there.
Absolutely. And good luck turkey hunting, folks.
Yes. Yeah. It's upon us. Let's see. Well, I'm looking at the calendar here. We got 2 weeks till opening day.
Youth,
more or less.
Youth season. I'm going out with my daughter this weekend. Youth opens up this week. Yeah. That's exciting.
And then regular for the North on
the April 2nd.
Yes.
Yep. Are you still heading up to your place?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm planning on it.
That's awesome.
Hoping I can. We're knee deep in the middle of spring shipments and stuff. So it's, I got to head up to Austin on Wednesday to help out with that. So I got to do it off and on. So, we'll see.
Fun. That will be fun. But hey, somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. But you know what? It's, I don't mind doing it. I enjoy it. It equals dollar signs. So that
of course.
Works.
Of course. Absolutely.
Pays the bills.
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks again, everybody out there, and support your local feed store. Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. If you like what we discuss on the show, be sure to sign up to our email list to get even more killer hunting ideas, tips, tricks, and exclusive deals on innovative hunting gear and services delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up over at feedbandit.com or simply by texting the word bandit to 33777. See you on the next one, and remember, support your local feed store.